Right, we all know that The Mandalorian is probably one of the only good things currently in Star Wars. We also know, ladies and gents, that we're getting some The Bad Batch, a sort of a Clone Wars spin-off. But basically, we're getting some information now about Moff Gideon, or Moff Gideon, depending on how you pronounce these things, which is obviously played by Giancarlo Esposito. And yes, I probably butchered that. Look, I'm English. Sue me. About how his Moff Gideon has some form of potential force sensitivity, which is awesome. I really like that. And I will say, although it's not like 100% confirmed like how it will play out, I think it makes sense, because if we're going to be getting other force sensitives, and obviously, I mean, the whole Mandalorian, right? It's quite literally all about force sensitivity, right? It's, Baby Yoda, the little Yodeling, is a force sensitive being. So it makes sense that we're going to be getting this, and I really like it. And it also adds a little bit more depth to the character because he's wielding the Darksaber. So let's get into this article. It will be linked down below. Oh, also, I hope you're all having a great week. I hope you're having a great day. Giancarlo Esposito recently hinted that his Star Wars character, Moff Gideon, who played one of the major villains in the first season of The Mandalorian, is force sensitive. I really liked how they did The Mandalorian. I've reviewed it and I really, really liked it. But what I especially liked is that they included this character, basically overseeing Werner Herzog's character. And it was very much the same sort of archetype, very same sort of villainous role that we had for the entire original movies, right? You'd have the grand sort of puppet master, and then his little plaything that he would sort of talk through and get things done, and then boom, right at the end, that grand puppet master comes in and just wreaks havoc, and it was really good. It just built to this big crescendo. I really liked The Mandalorian. It is one of the only good things currently about sort of Star Wars and things like that. I really, really liked it. Now, Esposito spoke with Entertainment Tonight about his upcoming role as Anton Castillo in Far Cry, but was also questioned about his role as Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian. Of course, we're getting that coming very, very soon, and we know that his role is, he has a pretty prevalent role in The Mandalorian Season 2, so, it makes sense that they would ask him this. Also, side note, it's really good just to get some normal news again, like some good, just normal news, rather than all the sort of cancel culture nonsense which we've had a lot recently. And I know you guys are getting a bit sick of it, I'm aware. But anyway, Entertainment Tonight's Ash Croshan asked Esposito, "I have to know your reaction when you found out you were going to be wielding the Darksaber, and what it looks like on set, because it was one of the most badass shots I've ever seen." Now, obviously, it's not like a proper Darksaber on set. So Esposito responded that, "I have to say it's such an honor. Few have wielded that saber." I like this because it actually hints at the fact that he does know what he's talking about. He added, "It was just really wonderful to be in the organic version of this story. Jon Favreau asked me to do it. I was head over heels, and he mentioned that he had written it for me." Now that's when you know like a role, it's quite literally custom made for an actor, right? An actor and a role within a certain thing, they just gel as one, and I really like that. And also, what a good villain he does make. Obviously he played, was it Fring? I think it was. The chicken overlord in Breaking Bad, and he was epic in that. He just has this sort of brooding sense of just a very sinister, brooding character. I think he's very good, very cold and calculated. I think he portrays that very well. I would also, again, side note, like to see him do other things, just because it would be good to see what he can do. But he added, "It was just really wonderful to be in the organic version of the story. Jon Favreau asked me to do it, and then he'd written it for me. I went and started to look at old Moffs. What's a Moff? I went back and looked at Peter Cushing. He was a Moff. What do they do? Who are they? And then was really present in conversations with Jon about his imperial status, his carryover from the Empire, how Moffs operate, and why possibly leaving room, it's always possibly why he might be the Moff to take everything over." Ooh, subtle hint there. What's going on? And he really was, right? Like, when we caught up with him in The Mandalorian, he was literally overseeing the end of the Empire, everything that was there. He brought more troops in. He had troops stationed here, there, and everywhere. He did seem to have that kind of authority, which is fascinating. And really, really good to see that that's the route that they were potentially going down, I think, anyway. Now, he elaborated, noting he asked Favreau quite a few questions about the character and his role in the story. How does he know everything? There were a bunch of questions. Some of them got answered, and many of them not, because he's still trying to find out. Esposito then provided a little bit more info about Moff Gideon, indicating he's not afraid to get down and dirty himself. So to be in the position of having that kind of regal, graceful power, but have this saber, which delineates a different part of me than any other character. And he added, to have this saber means I can use it, and I can do my own dirty work. That I'm a fighter, that I'm a warrior. That's part of me. Yes. Oh, yes. Because he's right. He comes up here and he says, the kind of regal, graceful character, right? And they are. Like, when you look at the Moffs, I mean, they're modelled after the SS, aren't they? Right? They're modelled after Nazi Secret Service and things like that. So, to have, this kind of regal, very almost aristocratic general, because that's what they are, right? Like, it's almost like an aristocratic general, but also to be someone that can just whip out this bloody sword and be like, yeah, I'm going to absolutely mow you down. Great. Really, really good. And it shows layers and depth to a character, and I like that. Like, if you're looking at characterizations of things, it's better to have a three-dimensional character rather than just this 1D or even 2D. Now he goes on. So he goes on a bit further. He says, Esposito concluded the question hinting that Moff Gideon might be a Force user, and even beyond that, he might be a fallen Jedi or even possibly a descendant of Darth Vader. Now, that's interesting. So he says, he explained, also creates the possibility that he is one of the ones. He possibly has that, and that to me is interesting. Because is he that fallen hero? Is he a descendant of Darth Vader? Who is he? I mean, he's not a descendant of Darth Vader, we know that. Or I highly doubt that anyway. Was he one? Was he, a Jedi? He knows all about everything, and you will have to wait to find out. And he's actually pretty good with that Darksaber too. So that's like a few things to obviously digest here, right? Is he going to be a descendant of Darth Vader? No, highly doubtful. Although it is Disney, and I don't want to give him too much credit because they might do something dumb and they may have him a descendant of Darth Vader. But what if, right? I'm just throwing it out there. They have him as within the lineage of Darth Vader in terms of maybe like a clone of or some sort of offshoot. And I know I don't like clones in the universe anyway. I think they work with the stormtroopers, but everything else is a bit dumb. Especially when we know that, the Emperor's body was a clone, and Rey's father was a clone of Emperor, and all this kind of nonsense, right? But if we know that that exists, there's the possibility that they'll include it in The Mandalorian. So we can't put it past them. Now, would I like it? No. But is he going to be a descendant of Darth Vader? No. God, I hope not. And I doubt it as well. But there's the potential that he could be a fallen Jedi. And I like that. Especially, if he's seen what Yoda is, right? Like, he knows what Yoda is. Especially because you think of everyone that existed during the Empire. They probably wouldn't have seen Yoda that much because he went into exile. So how does Moff Gideon know who Yoda is unless he's part of the Jedi and knows it, or was part of the Jedi? So there's that possibility, and I think that makes sense. But it'll be interesting to see anyway. And then also I just really like the fact that he's saying, yeah, he's pretty good with the Darksaber. Basically saying we're going to see him fight with it. Which also implies that we're going to see other people with lightsabers, which again, I really, really like the sound of. Now, Esposito also hinted that Moff Gideon will continue his pursuit of the Mandalorian, aka Din Djarin, and the child, aka Baby Yoda, in Season 2. That makes sense. And he says, just don't let me catch you in Season 2, but you never know. I just want to spend all my time with him, as close as I will get. And believe me, I'm good at getting close. So there you go. There's not, this just explains a little bit of the history of the Darksaber, and I'll be really intrigued to see how they kind of use it and how they work it into the canon, I guess. But the people who made the Darksaber and obviously the animated series are working on the show, so I have some hope that they will know what they're doing. But I really like the sound of this. I think this sounds really good, and again, just positive news for a change. I'm really happy with The Mandalorian. I'm looking forward to Season 2. It'll be dropping in, what, a good couple of months now, so quite soon. And I'll review it weekly, just like I did with the original Mandalorian season. In fact, I've got a whole playlist of it. So thank you all so much for watching, though, guys. Let me know your thoughts on all of this down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear it. Do you think we could be like some offshoot clone? Again, remember, they do have it in this universe now, so there's the potential. Or would you much prefer him to be like a fallen Jedi or something along those lines? Please do let me know. Also, guys, if you stayed this long, please do remember to give the video a like, because it means that you obviously enjoyed the video enough to stay on it, and it really does help the channel out. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, I've been Mr. H. Take care.